Hello, and welcome to the first ever episode 7 of Gears League and Xbox podcast. This is Tyler Bello, and I am actually alone again today. So, I'm also a day late. We were going to record yesterday, but there was actually some bad weather and they couldn't make it. And so we rescheduled for today, but today kind of had conflicts anyway too, so I just figured I'd go at it again. The goal is to never miss an episode. So that's what I'm doing. So pretty much, like I said earlier in a couple episodes ago, there'll always be an episode up. I just don't know if I'll always have everybody. So as you guys could probably guess, this series is kind of my baby. So I'm the one, they always come over to my place to do the recording and stuff like that. So but I am the one who kind of had the idea to start it, and I do kind of feel like this podcast is very near and dear to me, so that's why it'll always happen, even if I'm doing it alone. So because I do really care about the podcast, I want to going forward. Couple notes: the logo is still not here, so kind of waiting on that. It might be a few more weeks. So we haven't even gotten the first round of drafts for the logo yet, but I'm hoping that we're gonna get the call soon and an email soon about being able to look at those. So that's the hope for that. So, but anyway, time to jump into the episode. Gonna be probably another shorter episode. Not because just so you know, because I know the last episode I did alone was short. Not all my solo episodes are gonna be short because I feel like I can actually be pretty articulate just by myself. It just seems to be coincidentally that both the time to do the episode alone, there's not a lot of news going on. So basically this might be like a 20-minute episode or something like that at best. I don't even know if I'll make it that long, but because the topic is kind of hard for me to talk about by myself. But as far as the news goes, there really wasn't anything newsworthy to I feel like our audience, but I'll get to that. First, kind of what I'm playing. I've been doing nothing but Pokemon. So, as you know, last week I kind of got out of just playing Destiny all day, every day, and now I'm finally on to Pokemon. And I have a lot of thoughts about it. I won't bore you guys with the details, but it is a lot of fun. I have my complaints. It's not the perfect game or anything, but I had a lot of fun doing it, a lot of fun playing it. The last Pokemon game I seriously played was the remake of Alpha Sapphire, and before that, the last Pokemon game I really played was probably Sapphire and Ruby themselves. So it's awesome. I'm shiny hunting. I don't know if for you hardcore Pokemon nerds out there, like I'm hunting for shiny Pokemon. I've never done that before in a game. Pain in the ass, but I'm getting a lot of show watching done while I'm doing it. I can like marathon episodes of The Sopranos. I'm getting through that show very quickly because I'm just shiny hunting. So I've got a few down. I've got a shiny Charmander, a shiny Ditto, and I've got a shiny Grookey and a shiny Sobble. Those are almost all three shiny starters in this game. I need a shiny Scorbunny next, but I'm liking it a lot. This kind of does lead me into a segue though of a spin-off series I plan to do under the Gears League umbrella, and I am gonna wait until we get the new logo to do it, because I feel like I'm just kind of a little embarrassed every time I upload it with this current logo we've got. But we're going to be uploading it with a new logo when it comes out. But yeah, it's going to be called Tyler's Soapbox. So just things that wouldn't necessarily fit into the regular show that I still do want to have an in-depth conversation about. So like Pokemon, for example, is one of those things. Basically a way for me to also review games, essentially, without having to actually physically write a review, because I do not write things. I'm not a writer, so kind of just a way for me to kind of get my thoughts out and stuff like that in a deeper, longer manner. Like probably each episode will be like 20, 30 minutes or so, just kind of about a particular game and kind of the ins and outs of that game. So, look for that here in the coming weeks. And the first one will be about Pokemon. So, like I said, nothing really for news at all to this week, other than State of Decay is coming to Steam. There's some PC-centric gaming news, which I kind of feel like also applies to us. Obviously, Half-Life Apex or whatever it's called got announced. Haven't really done a lot of research into it other than the name, but it's really funny that they didn't just call it Half-Life 3, because I think people would have just lost their minds if they announced Half-Life 3 because of all the memes that game was never going to exist. And I feel like they took the easy way out, not calling it Half-Life 3. I feel like that would have been a phenomenon, and I feel like that would have been a great marketing idea, but whatever. I'm not in charge of that, so what do I know, right? So, but anyway, so the topic today will be, I kind of want to go back to an earlier topic we had again with games as a service. I kind of want to talk to you about that because I was, there's, even just the first few episodes we did, I even then talked about how I liked battle passes in games. And I kind of want to revisit that because of what I've seen lately, and kind of my experiences with that. So, I recently started Destiny again because I was trying to find an MMO that I could play that would not take all of my time. So basically, I played World of Warcraft for a long time. I probably have like 10 years of playtime in that game, like almost not a joke, kind of a joke, but almost not a joke. Like legit 10 years of playtime, and I've loved it. I play it all the time. But a lot of times when I'm playing World of Warcraft, it's basically I'm only playing World of Warcraft. I can't play any other games, which sucks because I do love playing single player games. I love playing RPGs, love playing all that. But really, when I do that, I'm just playing World of Warcraft basically. And so my goal, the reason I went so hard into Destiny was because my goal was to kind of get to a point where I could play Destiny and have that be my new MMO of choice, because I thought that maybe if that was my MMO, I wouldn't have to play it so much to, be able to make progress. Like I feel like I could not play the game for a week and a half and I feel like I wouldn't miss anything. I wasn't getting that same feeling with World of Warcraft. I felt like with World of Warcraft, if you weren't playing, you were missing something, or if that was like you were missing like raid week or something, if you still had to play like two nights a week, I feel like that was kind of a chore sometimes, just depending on the way you look at it, obviously, but like I feel like that's kind of a pain in the ass, like having to every single week play twice a week to raid and everything. I just kind of thought that was like annoying, but kind of want to see the best way to kind of get my thoughts here together on this. That didn't end up being the case with Destiny 2. And specifically, only recently, Destiny became the game that you could not do that on. So yeah, a while ago I was talking about how I love battle passes. I think that's a really cool concept. I was saying that because it's kind of high on the fact that Gears of War has its own, it's called the Tour of Duty, but it's a battle pass. Destiny now has its own battle pass implemented on it. So Destiny 2's battle pass. Both of these aren't just 1 month battle passes like Fortnite. I think Fortnite's could have been 2 months too. I have no idea. I wasn't really a Fortnite guy at all. I didn't really get that much into it, but each battle pass is 2 months. All right, and so my goal was to try to keep bouncing back between the games, and also in the break time I had between the battle passes, play the single player games I wanted to play. This was kind of my new strategy after leaving World of Warcraft to try to have more time for the single player games that I really wanted to play. It didn't take me long to realize that's impossible. Here's why. So, Gears of War, Gears 5 came out, one of my favorite games. Obviously, it's part of the reason the podcast is named Gears League. Had this battle pass. And I started off with it, and that was a great idea. I grinded. It took me about 7 weeks to get everything in the first battle pass, which in the battle pass is about 3-month pieces at a time. So as soon as I finished everything, I was excited. I was like, awesome, this was fun. I can't wait to come back to this with new skins in a couple months. Right, so it took me 7 weeks. Also, too, I will note at this time, it did say 7 of 17. So I was under the impression I had 10 more weeks to wait before I had to come back to Gears. So then I went to Destiny 2 to start grinding on that battle pass that came out. It was probably about like a week ago today, I realized it was like, I eventually got to point, I'm almost close to beating the battle pass now. I am very, very close. But as you can tell, and you kind of heard I felt, obviously I didn't let on about it, but I felt really bad because we kept going on to the podcast and I kept saying I've done nothing but play Destiny 2. I actually did have some shame about that. I was really wanting to try to get to some of these games. I wanted to get to Outer Worlds. I wanted to get to all that, so I could talk about it on the podcast. But my idea was I was going to grind this I was gonna get so far, and then eventually I wouldn't have to work so hard to keep doing it each week. Um, but that just never ended up being the case. I got to pretty much close to the battle pass being done, and then I look, and so Gears of War changed their battle pass to 12 weeks, meaning their new battle pass starts in 4 days. So I was just about to finish the Destiny 2 battle pass, and if I had kept playing it every day, I probably would have finished it by now at this point. And then I realized, but as soon as I was done, I would have to go back to the Gears battle pass. By the time I finished the Gears battle pass, I'd already be late to go back to the Destiny 2 battle pass. And then so on and so forth. It would be continuously like a vicious cycle of that. I'd be going back and forth each time. And this is not at all what I wanted to do. This is not why I played Destiny 2. This is the exact opposite. In fact, I have to end up playing that game more than World of Warcraft to make World of Warcraft progress. And let's just face it, there's a hell of a lot more to do in World of Warcraft than Destiny 2. I feel like that World of Warcraft obviously is a longer MMO, but in my opinion, World of Warcraft is just a better game, and you don't have to play as much to be able to keep up with everyone. While I was saying that I didn't want to have to play at least 2 nights a week, 3 hours, so 6 hours a week basically. Like so, obviously when World of Warcraft like a new expansion comes out, I'm playing it all day every day. But when you're trying to play other games, you can just go down to 6 hours a week, pretty much 2-3 hour raid nights, and and see everything you want to see. You can do everything, because you're still progressing in the main way to progress, which was raiding, But Destiny doesn't have that. If you're not grinding that game all the time, doing the bounties every day, you're not going to hit the battle pass, you're not going to get everything, you're going to be missing stuff. People are going to have a ton of stuff that you don't have, and that bugs the crap out of me. If that's going to be my main MMO, I do kind of like to show off. Like in World of Warcraft, I can probably say I can show off a hell of a lot more to anyone else than anyone can show off to me. Like, I mean, it's very rare that someone outdoes me, and outdoes me in World of Warcraft, So, I kind of took issue with that, and I kind of realized that, like, this is kind of too much. And so, like I said, when we were talking about battle passes, I was very high on them before, but now I'm the exact opposite. I thought so pretty much all these games as service, World of Warcraft, Destiny, even some games, online components like Gears to an extent, obviously their goal is to keep you playing every day. And that should be their goal, obviously, right? To keep you engaged in a community and everything like that. But there are only so many hours in a day, and it is I feel like we have to be reaching a breaking point because there's so many games out there, so many MMOs. So here's the thing: even just 5-10 years ago, we were talking about how MMOs were dying, but then it seems like somehow we just adapted the motto of the MMO in all our other games for some reason, and now it feels like it's thriving in every other game, including MMOs now. So now there's so much content. Like, how could you possibly get to it all? So if you're a Destiny lover and a World of Warcraft lover, you will never be able to play both those games to completion, like, all the time. I mean, unless you just didn't have a job. If you didn't have a job, you'd be fine, you'd be set. Which, I mean, I'm very much looking forward to my retirement for this reason, but I'm not retiring anytime soon, I've got about at least another 50, 60 years until I retire, so. It's becoming a chore, and there's so many games to search. Like I said, I know we kind of visited this topic before too, but I kind of just want to come back to it because I feel like the problem's even worse. There's so much game to service. I haven't even been able to try Fallout 76, which is a game that I really want to try. But there'd be no way I could possibly go into that game now because I'd have no prayer of doing that. So anyway, kind of the game me, Qual, and Beta Law are going to be going to probably from now on is going to be World of Warcraft. I'm actually going back to WoW because that is now the place where you can play hardcore when you want and then also then go down to casual too and still progress. And I feel like that's kind of the safe medium. It's going to be, it's funny enough, World of Warcraft, the very thing I was trying to escape, ends up being the only hope I think I have for maintaining one game as a service too. But even that with 6 hours a week and then trying to beat the Gears Battle Pass every couple months, that's still going to be a lot, still that doesn't leave a lot of time for the single player games we want to play. I do, however, think that this is giving me time to at least get through those games. It might take me a little longer than it would who's only playing those games, but I'll be able to finally get there now, which is nice. But yeah, Destiny was taking all my time, 24 hours a day. I had to play Destiny, or else I wasn't catching it. Basically, I feel like I was falling behind. Um, so yeah, I mean that's kind of the overall thing I want to talk about is basically like how consuming content can kind of become a chore because everyone's. I wonder when we're gonna reach the breaking point when game developers realize not everyone can make a game as a service. Like at what point? I mean, I know we've got the money to buy the games, but at what point do we run out of the currency of time to play all this stuff? Like, someone made the joke early. Like, I don't know how representative this is of the future of gaming, but like, someone made the joke that like, do we live in a world where everyone bought Anthem and no one plays it, but no one bought Gears but everyone plays that? And obviously that's because of the Battle Pass and everything. I'm sorry, the Xbox Game Pass and everything. But like, I kind of just wonder, like, these MMOs, if people are excited for it, like at a certain point, like when are we gonna buy it because we're excited, and then just no one's gonna play it because like who has the time to play all this stuff, you know? And I can't see this being a sustainable thing. And I know there's always that fear that some people have who love single player games, like me, keep saying like, if single player games are dying out. I still don't feel like single player games are going anywhere, but at the same time, it's kind of like, well, like, eventually I feel like this is gonna, like, people who are getting sucked into these games of service, they're gonna eventually stop buying these single player games. And it kind of does make me kind of fear for the future of eventually how many of these single player games are we possibly gonna have, if no one has the time to play them. So, but anyway, that's kind of my topic for the day. That's kind of very much my closing thoughts. I would love to hear your input on it. GearsLeaguePodcast@gmail.com. Again, GearsLeaguePodcast@gmail.com. That'll about do it for this episode. Again, I'd love to hear your feedback about that. But hopefully I will have Betel and Koala back here next week for another episode. But if not, you can be assured that I will be here talking softly into your ear. So hopefully for longer. Hopefully we've got actually more news to get to. But anyway, that's all I've got for you for now. Appreciate your time. Thank you. Take care. And again, GearsLeaguePodcast@gmail.com. All right? Take care, guys.